Hi everyone. So I don't know how well this is going to turn out. I'm sorry that half my head is like cut off here, but I'm doing the best I can. So I thought I would bring you guys a tag. Yes, I'm in an old lost shirt. I make no apologies for liking Frozen. But yeah, this angle has me a little squished up here. So let's get on with the tag. You can watch half my face and my kitty in the background there. So what I'm going to be doing is called the Oh Just a Terrible Book Tag. So this was created by Strip Club Lit, and some of these I really don't have answers for, but I'm kind of glad because it is called the Terrible Book Tag. So number one is, what is the worst book you've ever read for pleasure? As of right now, I would say All American Girl by Meg Cabot. Like, I kind of dislike that book more than Twilight. The protagonist was just so whiny and obsessed with her sister's boyfriend. Like, okay, the book, at least the synopsis, is supposed to be about a girl who ends up saving the president, okay? So, this girl, I think her name was Sam, I can't even really remember. She's like into art and everything. She's obsessed with Gwen Stefani, all cool and everything. And you would think a character like this might have an interesting personality. No, not really. You'd think living in DC and having like a housekeeper, or she lives close by DC or whatever. Anyway, she's able to go there fairly easily. You'd think the book would be more about, I don't know, politics or people of different lifestyles. No. She sort of kind of gets involved with the president's son, but she's still obsessed with her sister's boyfriend. She feels that she don't deserve him because he's like mysterious and artistic or some shit like that. And it's like, you can have that stuff in there, and it could be like, I don't know, it can be good, it can be fun, but you can also learn things from it. Like, you can have a fun, teen-centered story dealing with boys and high school and friendship and all that other stuff, and it could be good. Okay? Like, Mean Girls is an example of that. That's a good movie, at least in my opinion. This, I don't know what the hell this was. Like, yeah. I guess it's an entertaining read for something fluffy, but no. So now that I spent like 2 minutes rambling about that book, what was the worst book you've ever read for school? See, I did not make it far enough to get into where people get into, like, I don't know if you want to call it like major literature. So perhaps I've gotten lucky that I have not ran into a book yet, because I'm kind of behind on the classics and everything. Not that I haven't read any, but I haven't read enough of what's usually required in school to know if I would have disliked anything. Most things I was pretty okay with. But if word problems and math count, I'm gonna go with that because I suck at that. Number 3, who is the worst writer ever? Once again, I have been lucky enough to not hate a book so much that I would call the author like the worst ever. So like, if I didn't like something, I guess I won't go and read their other stuff. Some ones that I think are kind of blah, obviously, would be Stephenie Meyer. I may or may not finish Twilight one day, I don't know, but I just didn't care for the book all that much. I mean, her writing was okay. And Meg Cabot, I think the plots of her story sound good, like All American Girl or The Princess Diaries, stuff like that. But when you actually go to read them, they just fall flat. And I don't know if I've read enough to call them the worst, but they're ones that I don't have the biggest interest in keeping up with their stuff. Number 4. Okay, so number 4 is going to take a while here. Number 4 is, what is the worst book to movie adaptation? So, whatever ones that I remember, either I have issues because they changed something and it was kind of a stupid change, or I just did not care enough about the book to really care about the book to movie comparisons, yada yada yada. So, 2 book to movie adaptations that I can think of that were almost nothing like the book. And I guess you would call it bad for a book to movie comparison because you're going for adaptation, right? So, A Walk to Remember and The Princess Diaries. Besides the basic plots, they were almost nothing like their books, but they were still decent movies. I don't remember too much about it, even though I enjoyed it just because it's been a few years since I've read it. But I know Queen of the Damned was supposed to be very different from the movie. At the time when I sort of kind of watched the movie, I wasn't reading those books at that time. I really didn't know anything about them or their connection to some of the other books and movies from the Vampire Chronicles. I kind of want to watch it, and I kind of don't, because I've heard how terrible it is. But I want to see that comparison to my own, so I can't really comment on that one totally, but one I definitely heard is Queen of the Damned. But yeah, most are just ones that I liked, that I thought maybe the acting was good, I thought it was a good portrayal, and, I understand that not everything can be put into a movie, or, something has to be changed, and it's not like character A met up with character B, and, I don't know, they saw a daisy in someone's garden, and it had no significance or whatever. It just, they were walking along the way, and somebody, they pointed it out. That was the end of the conversation. That probably wouldn't be left out. And no, I've never really read anything like that. I'm just giving an example. Or if you want, an actual book example, which, again, I don't ever remember reading or anything, but take, I don't know, Harry Potter. Harry Potter had to go to the bathroom, that's why he was late for potions class. Of course, that's ridiculous and it wasn't in there, but you get my point. Obviously certain things don't have to be in a movie, but when you start changing significant things, when you start changing significant things, it just, that's where it gets me. I felt Battle Royale could have had a little bit more dialogue because it was a lot more than just violence. I wish they would have spent a little bit more time on some of the kids and the things that they were going through. I know we've seen them in the movie, but it just didn't have the same kind of emotion that the book did for me. There's stuff all throughout the fucking Hunger Games, such as the toning down of what was going on in the world and everything, because these people are supposed to be in extreme poverty, and to me that just wasn't completely portrayed. I talked about it before, the whole Mockingjay pen thing, and other people have brought it up. If you're starving, you're not going to go to the black market and buy a pen. You're not. And there were so many connections with that one. And I could just ramble on and on. Honestly, I think the only movie that I think did a really good job from book to movie, and it was almost totally like it, was The Fault in Our Stars. What is your least favorite type of book to video to film? So, you know what? I don't know if I have a favorite type that I don't like to film, because I film whatever I feel that I'm ready for, and whatever I feel like doing. I will say my least favorite part of filming is trying to collect my words, especially when I do reviews, because reviews are one of my favorite things to do. However, trying to find the right words to give you a synopsis, give you my feelings without feeling like I'm rambling, with making sense, because a lot of books have this going on and then this and this and this. I think a good book obviously has layers. They have the character's doing, how that affects things and such, and sometimes it can be hard to list what you want to talk about because you feel that you might miss something. I would say filming wise, maybe those more in-depth videos. I love to watch them. I love that I created them, but I don't like not being satisfied with the content I have created, and that's partially, obviously, my own fault. Or obviously, that's partially my own fault. What is your least favorite type of booktube video to watch? I would have to say maybe hauls or unboxings. Like, I'm okay with TBR lists if you're going to, if you're talking about books you're going to read. I think that's cool and everything, but usually if I do book hauls, they're usually because I went off to Goodwill, and they're usually part of a vlog. But yeah, it's not my favorite thing to watch or do. Worst book cover ever? You know what, I don't know. I guess I don't care too much about book covers. I will say, like many people say, I'm not the biggest fan of like real life people on book covers. Sometimes it works well, but I guess they just remind you too much of movie covers. Movie covers are okay, but I really prefer like the original artwork and everything. So, I guess I would say movie covers. Obviously, they're the worst if you compare worst and best out of original and movie. What is the least fun you've ever had reading a book? I don't know how that's a question. Maybe something like All American Girl, or a couple of the other books I DNF'd. because I just thought it was getting to a super point, and I felt like I was wasting my time. Number 9, last book you DNF'd. That would be Call Waiting by R.L. Stine, which I was very disappointed with, and Zigzag, because it also had a whiny protagonist. Well, they all had whiny protagonists. Maybe one day I'll go back to them just to finish the book. But, yeah. Number 10 is Tags and Booktubers. You're supposed to technically insult people, but I just can't, because the booktuber community is nice. So maybe I'm ruining this question here. But the people that I'm going to be tagging are my new sub. I don't know if you do tags, but I'm going to tag John Bean. I'm going to tag Todd the Librarian, Dane Reeves, The Bald Book Geek, and Mindy's Book Journey, and anyone else who would like to do the tag. So hopefully this video went okay. Bye guys. Thanks for watching.